The NFL offseason is almost in full swing, and the Chicago Bears are at the center of what could be a franchise-altering moment. So buckle up, Bears fans, because the rumors swirling around Myles Garrett are really starting to heat up after we all found out that he actually does want out of Cleveland, and Chicago might just be the perfect landing spot for the elite pass rusher. Now, I know what you're thinking. Every time a star player becomes available, fans of every team start dreaming up scenarios to land them. But this time, it's different. The Bears are uniquely positioned to make a serious play for Garrett, and it could be the move that transforms this defense from pretender to contender literally overnight. But even outside of Myles Garrett, there is so much news to cover and things to talk about with this team, and I want to get to it all. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so getting straight into Myles Garrett, because that's the hot topic right now, let's start by breaking down who Myles Garrett is as a player. Simply put, he's a generational talent. Since he entered the league in 2017, Garrett has been nothing short of dominant. Last season, he racked up an impressive 14 sacks, 42 combined tackles, and 3 forced fumbles. But those numbers only tell part of the story. Garrett's impact goes beyond the stat sheet. He's a game wrecker who commands double teams and frees up his teammates, and on top of that, he really is a leader. I know for a while there was a vendetta against him because of that incident with Mason Rudolph, but I think there was more that happened behind the scenes that led to that. I really do think Rudolph said something racist or offensive or something along those lines, because Garrett doesn't lash out like that. In reality, he's just a good dude. I don't know what happened on that night, but yeah, that's not who he is. He truly is a leader. He's a guy that will make everyone around him better. To truly appreciate Garrett's dominance, let's dive deeper into his career numbers. In just 100 games, he's accumulated a staggering 88.5 sacks. That's an average of nearly a sack per game over his entire career. To put that in perspective, Hall of Famer Reggie White averaged 0.85 sacks per game over his illustrious career. Garrett isn't just good, he's on a trajectory to be one of the all-time greats. Now let's talk about what it would take to bring Garrett to Chicago. The price tag won't be cheap, as we all know, but the Bears have the capital to make it happen. One proposed trade package includes the Bears sending their 2025 first round 10th overall pick, their 2025 second round pick that's number 39, and their 2026 first round pick to the Browns. It's a steep price, no doubt, but for a player of Garrett's caliber, it could actually be a bargain in the long run. Imagine a defensive line featuring both Myles Garrett and Montez Sweat. Suddenly, the Bears' pass rush goes from middle of the pack to elite overnight. Quarterbacks in the NFC North would be running for their lives, and it would take pressure off the secondary, allowing them to make more plays on the ball. The ripple effect of adding a player like Garrett could transform the entire defense, in my opinion. And a good defense takes a lot of the pressure away from Caleb Williams as well, and that is ultra important. But as I've kind of talked about in my previous Bears videos, the Bears aren't just looking at Garrett. They're positioning themselves for a complete overhaul. In free agency, they've been linked to several big names, and I want to revisit one that we've discussed before. Offensive guard Trey Smith. Now, I know I've talked about Smith in a previous video, but his impact on this team could be something that is worth going all in for. Smith would be a massive upgrade to the interior offensive line, providing much needed protection for Caleb, and definitely would help open up holes in the run game as well. The fact that he's still on the Bears' radar speaks volumes about their commitment to building a dominant offensive line, and that's just the way this league is going. With how the best quarterbacks play in terms of style, they have to have a good O-line. I mean, Mahomes would not be able to do half of the ridiculous things that he does if he didn't have the O-line he has. And the Bears just made a significant move by hiring Dan Rashar as their new offensive line coach. And this is a big deal, guys. Rashar has been coaching offensive line since 1989 and has built a reputation as one of the best in the business. During his decade-long stint with the New Orleans Saints, he developed 4 Pro Bowl linemen, Terron Armstead, Andres Pete, Ryan Ramczyk, and Eric McCoy. So his natural ability to develop talent could be a game changer for the Bears' young linemen, especially for Darnell Wright. But the Bears' offseason plans don't stop there, because if Chicago trades away their first round pick or doesn't take a running back like Ashton Genty, there are rumors that they might target Javonte Williams. I honestly am not huge on Javonte, probably because he was on my fantasy team and was one of the most inconsistent players I had, but Williams has connections to the new coaching staff and could form a dynamic duo with DeAndre Swift in the backfield. And maybe all Javonte needs is a new environment to get going again. I mean, he has all the tools to be a beyond solid back. He just needs to find his place and find a rhythm within an offense. But back to the defensive side, besides the potential Garrett trade, the Bears are also looking at edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. While he's not on the same level as Garrett, Hendrickson is a proven pass rusher who could come at a fraction of the cost. He's coming off a 13-sack season and would immediately improve the Bears' defensive line for sure, whether as a complement to Garrett or as a standalone addition. In the draft, even if the Bears trade their first-round pick for Garrett, they still have ammunition to add talent. Some mock drafts have them targeting offensive line help, with names like Tyler Booker from Alabama being mentioned. And as I've said hundreds of times, strengthening the offensive line should be a top priority to protect their investment in Caleb Williams. And now I want to talk even more about the man who's orchestrating all of this, new head coach Ben Johnson. To state what we all know, Johnson's innovative offense in Detroit turned Jared Goff into a Pro Bowl quarterback, and a guy who got his name chanted even in away stadiums. So imagine what he could do with a talent like Caleb Williams. Johnson has already hinted at implementing some of the things he learned in Detroit, but with a new spin. He wants to be creative, experimental, and unforgettable, and honestly, I'm here for it. Johnson's ability to develop quarterbacks and design creative offenses is well documented. If he can unlock Caleb Williams' full potential, the Bears' offense could be one of the most exciting in the league. But it's not just about Williams. Johnson needs to build an offense that maximizes the talent around him. That means adding weapons, improving the offensive line, and creating a system that plays to everyone's strengths. And speaking of weapons, there's been some uncertainty surrounding Keenan Allen's future with the team. Recent reports suggest the Bears might move on from him to free up cap space. Allen had a solid season with the Bears, ranking second on the team with 744 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. However, his lack of explosiveness with about 10 yards per reception might not fit with Johnson's vision for a more dynamic offense. If Allen does depart, the Bears will need to find a replacement. One name to watch that is rumored to be a target for literally every single team, and I'm not joking, is T. Higgins. If he hits the market, he would be a perfect fit. A big-bodied receiver who can win 50-50 balls and would complement DJ Moore and Rome Odunze perfectly. The trio of Moore, Odunze, and Higgins could give Caleb Williams one of the most dangerous receiving cores in the league. And I'm not just saying that to say that, because I know last year I said Allen, Odunze, and Moore would be the best trio in the league, and they definitely weren't. But this would be a lot more younger and explosive of a unit. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't this too much change too fast? It's a valid concern, but the NFL is a win-now league, and the Bears have a unique opportunity with a talented young quarterback on a rookie contract. They need to maximize this window, kind of similar to what the Washington Commanders did with Jaden Daniels. So the potential addition of Myles Garrett combined with a new offensive-minded head coach and a franchise quarterback could be the perfect storm that gets Chicago to the playoffs. But it's not just about the big names, it's about building a complete team. The Bears need to address the secondary, add another linebacker, and continue to build depth across the roster. In the draft, they should be looking at players like Malachi Starks from Georgia, a physical, playmaking safety who would immediately improve the secondary. On the offensive line, Jonah Savianea, the massive guard from Arizona, would be a great fit in the second round. He's a mauler in the run game and has the potential to be a day one starter. In the end though, it all comes down to building a team that can compete not just next year, but for years to come. The Bears have the pieces in place, a young quarterback with unlimited potential, an innovative head coach, and the cap space to make big moves. Now it's time to put it all together. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.